This week in Battlefield 5, the end of active support for the game in June, the upcoming 6.6 May update, more free rewards and competitions, as well as a beautiful pilot snipe over on Iwo Jima. This is your week on the Battlefield. Welcome to this episode of This Week on the Battlefield, the show where we cover news, updates, the community, and so much more, all around the Battlefield franchise. As per usual, there's much to cover, so let's jump straight into it. Our main news story this week is, without a doubt, the end of active support for Battlefield 5, coming after a final content update in June, and what to expect as well in terms of changes and new content until that time comes. Now, DICE has provided little detail on what to expect from that final update, though the post does include a picture from a yet unknown map, believed to be the previously data mined 5v5 competitive Al-Maj encampment location set in Libya. Additionally, DICE will be bringing us further updates for community games before ending active support for the title, but other than that, there is regrettably little positive news to take from the update provided by DICE and the information we got this week. I covered the full details on the post in a separate video. You'll of course find it linked in the info card above and description down below. On the update side of things though, patch 6.6, or simply the May update, is still set to launch as originally intended. DICE has been stingy on details as to what we can expect from this large patch, but here's what we've been told so far. As of course most of you will know, soldier and vehicle cosmetics are getting a pretty substantial rework. As demonstrated on previous episodes of the show, a lot of the default soldier uniforms, that is specifically British and German, are getting color adjustments to make them a little bit more authentic and frankly also a little less bland. A couple of demos have been trickling in over the past few weeks, and we also have transport vehicle reskins coming to make them a little bit more appropriate to the respective maps on which of course they are spawned in. In the past, there's also been confirmation by community manager Jeff Braddock that a team balancer was actually in the works, but it is unclear if this will be included in the update or is still being worked on at all, given of course the current situation Battlefield 5 finds itself in. There should be quite a substantial number of changes and updates coming with this patch though, at least that is what we've been told. It of course remains to be seen if that comes true. Then in some smaller news nuggets, on Thursday the Winterkrieg Epic set was released for free for all players, so if you log into Battlefield 5 you should be able to pick that one up. Additionally, on the note of free stuff, DICE is hosting another contest, this time titled Make Your Own Battlefield 5 Trailer, where 5 participants can win a 2080 Ti graphics card and an Art of Battlefield 5 book, with the 5 runners-up also getting that same Art of Battlefield 5 book. Link to the competition as well as all details surrounding it will of course be down below in the description. On the weekly Tides of War mission front, we have the final week of Chapter 6 of course, with Roll with the Punches featuring a series of rush, frontlines and infantry focused tasks and rewarding you with either a tier skip reward token or of course the 100 points. To go alongside it, we have the most interesting of the limited time playlists to date in my personal opinion. Titled the same as the weekly challenge, Roll with the Punches is a mixture of rush and frontlines maps featuring Devastation, Twisted Steel, Narvik, Wake Island and Operation Underground on rush, and Aerodome Hamada, Arras and Rotterdam on frontlines. As a fan of both of those game modes, definitely a playlist I'm going to be enjoying this week. There isn't really much to look forward to in terms of next week. I expect we will get some details on what to expect from update 6.6 as we get closer to a potential release date for it, but other than that, with no active chapter and no intention of adding further content at least until that final June update, it looks like the next couple of weeks are once more going to be relatively quiet around Battlefield 5. Then over in our temporal goodness, as always of course to be taken with a generous helping of salt given the data mining origins of the provided information. We have a couple of interesting nuggets to talk about, starting off with an interesting fact about a lot of the unreleased vehicles. The likes of the Bishop, Grille, Hummel and Churchill AVRE tanks were all removed from the game with update 6.2, a possible suggestion that DICE already knew then that they weren't going to be continuing to develop the game any further. Then in more vehicle related news, we have another Western Front appropriate addition with the Douglas A20 Havoc medium bomber. Given the fact that we only have one major more content update coming for Battlefield 5, however, I wouldn't expect to see this make it into the game anytime soon, if, frankly, ever at all. We also have 2 new tank vehicle skins to talk about in the Overwatch vehicle dressing for the Valentine AA Mark 1, paired here with the Aberdeen paint job, and then the Centurion set for the Flak Panzer 4, paired with the Citadel paint job. And lastly, in our data mining news, we have the Hunter's Pride weapon set available for the Bar M1918A2, Type 2A SMG, Type 99 Arizaka bolt action rifle, M3 grease gun, Type 100, and M1919 A6 Browning machine gun. Possibly even to be accompanied by a Japanese soldier cosmetic as well. I frankly quite like these skins, so I hope we do end up seeing them come to the game before, well, active support for it dries up. In our community news then, well, the world is on fire. To nobody's surprise, the news of an end to support for Battlefield 5 wasn't exactly met with a great deal of positivity. I, for my part, keeping my own thoughts here relatively brief, think that this is a really bad move on DICE's part. I understand the argument that this allows them to dedicate more resources and more time to the next title coming in the franchise, earliest of course to release in fall of 2021, but it leaves the community and the fans of the franchise without an active game for 1.5 years, and more importantly leaves Battlefield 5 in an unfinished and unpolished state, a permanent stain on the Battlefield franchise's reputation. With less content than any of the recent entries into the franchise, a record poor reputation amongst the community and the wider gaming industry, and a long and publicly documented list of broken promises, specifically as well as relates to the long-term support for the game and future content plans. Dropping the game at this stage, not doing what was done with Battlefield 4 and actually fixing it up and turning it into an enjoyable experience and getting the community back on board is going to impact the reputation of DICE as a studio and Battlefield as a franchise as a whole. All you have to do is really go on Reddit or the comment section on any video covering recent Battlefield news, and you'll find countless people professing their intention to not purchase the next game at all, or before it has been out fully vetted for quite some time and its price handsomely reduced so that it is cheaper and less of a gamble. The full extent of the damage Battlefield 5 thus has caused with this decision is going to extend to the franchise as a whole, and future installments are going to suffer as consequence. Thus, I once more shake my head in disbelief as DICE ends Battlefield 5 really as they started it, a complete and utter disaster. As to the future of my own channel, I'll definitely continue to support the game and the franchise, at least until the last of the new content has released, so feel free to subscribe and stay tuned for more content on the game for the foreseeable future, but after that, I don't know yet. Definitely taking into consideration a lot of the suggestions and comments I've received on recent videos on the subject matter, so keep those coming, they're most helpful. But doom and gloom aside, over in our Only in Battlefield moments, we have a community submission by a regular on the show, i337Rage, flanking on Operation Underground with his Lewis gun. Next up, we have a couple of nice sniper clips by Parkaday and James Defoe. And lastly today, we have E2 Good For You Mate with the perfect demonstration of what to do with snipers that end up getting a little bit too comfortable for their own good. But coming to the end of this week's episode then, if you enjoyed the show, found it interesting or entertaining, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, share, and of course tune in next week for another update on Battlefield 5. With that being said, I'd like to thank you very much for watching, and hope to see you in the next episode this week on the Battlefield.